Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. What a lovely Tuesday CPI morning this is. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Got to celebrate mothers across the world. And what a giant day for the indices yesterday. The U.S. China trade deal. Hopefully, the markets will start to settle down a bit. It would be nice if we can get back to some normalcy in the markets. Also, hoping we don't have circuit breaker today like we did on the last CPI. We did not have it for NFP, so that's a good sign. So hopefully it does not happen today. And there's no pauses, so we should be good. We should be good. Oh, the burning question: what pad size? What pad size? Don't we all want to know? Maybe we should just roll with blind and just guess. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's get into it, guys. So first, I'm going to start with what pad size I'm using for my 250K account. So the passing percentage for a 250K account is the same regardless if you go from a 25 pad, see, it's still at 85. If you go down to a 24 pad, it's 62, all the way up to a 49. So it's statistically speaking, a pad size anywhere from 25 to 49, you're going to have the same passing percentage. So I tend to err on the side of caution. So I'll go with a higher pad. I'm going to run myself personally with a 40-point pad. Doesn't mean that that's going to be the right size for everybody. That's just the one I'm going to be running with myself. So let's go ahead and get into some of the questions here. Let's go with for those who try to attempt it. So let me explain something to you guys. For those that are attempting this on those smaller contract allocated 50K accounts, it's not the best. Okay. And in fact, one of the main reasons why I do OSOC is for these larger accounts. When you have smaller 50K accounts in your maximum drawdown to the amount that you have as a profit target to pass, those ratios, the risk to passing ratios, are much smaller. A lot of them are 1-to-1 or 1.25 to 1. So in other words, you have a $2,500 drawdown. That's what you can max. That's what your maximum risk essentially can be to pass $3,000. That's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. Those type of accounts, you can just pass with normal trading. Okay. The reason why I use these larger accounts is because for a 250K Apex accounts, you have $6,500 in drawdown to pass $15,000. So that ratio is like 2.5 times. So it's much harder to pass a 250K account with a $6,500 drawdown trading normally. Like if you're risking small size, number one, it's going to take you months and months and months to pass. And if you say, okay, well, you know what, I'll just up my risk and risk, say, half of the drawdown per trade. Well, the problem is you could be in a winning trade. However, because you're risking so much of that account, you know, most of the time in normal trading, you don't enter a trade and it goes right to profit. It's going to be 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes until your profit hits. And in the meantime, it's going to go up and down, up and down. And I mean, you only need on the NASDAQ something like an 8 to 12 point pullback for it to blow your account because of the trailing drawdown. So I don't even try to pass these accounts trading normally. It's only OSOC for these accounts. So that's why I use the 250K accounts, guys. So, you know, if you're using a 50K account that you can only use 3 contracts, this might not be the specific method you want to employ to pass those accounts. So, like that one there, let's look at this. So I know a 50K account on Apex has 10 contracts and you have a $3,000 passing. That's better, right? The pad size is probably going to be about the same. Well, I mean, 25, you're at 100% passing rate on one of those accounts. Let's see, 30. Yeah, so anywhere from 20 to 25. And the reason being, Why it's 100% is because you only need 15 points to pass. And if the average manipulation is 17, you might be able to just pass it on a manipulation side of it. So after the pad. So that's why that type of account. But if you're going with like a My Funded Futures account, which I think is only 3 contracts, again, you still have, you could still have an 85% passing rate. I'm not a fan on certain news events for those type of accounts. So 35, yeah, for a 300K account on Apex, it's going to be the same. It's going to be about the same. You can roll anywhere from 25 to 49. Let's see, 48. So it's up to you what pad size you want to use for that type of account. 14 minis, and the passing percentage is, or the passing amount, 6K. So let's go down to 25. So 25 points, it's 85%. 30 points, it's 85%. 35, 85%. 40, it's 85%. 45, it's up to 92% passing rate for a $6,000 passing with 14 contracts. $1,500 for 5 minis. Sandeep, 5 minis. 1,500 is all you need to go. Let's see. 25 point pad gives you 100% passing rate. 30 drops you down to 85. 35 is 85. So 25 gives you the highest passing rate. So you go up to 40. 40 is 85. 45 is 92. So there's that. $3,000 profit target on the 7K. What accounts do you guys have that has this, or the accounts that haven't been passed yet? Cassandra, I am personally for my 250K account. That's what I'm rolling with. Yep. Bolinex. Okay. Yep. So there you go. So 45 point pad gives you a 90% passing rate. A 40 point pad, it's 85. 35 point pad is 85. A 30 point pad is 85 as well. All right. So that's it. I'm gone over the numbers. You guys figure out what pad you want. Like I said, with my 250K account, I'm going to be rolling with a 40 point pad today. Now let's get to the charts. Who on here is new and has no idea what's going on? I got about 5 minutes to explain this to you guys. Anybody new on here? Okay, Rafa. Very good, Alan. So what we're doing here is we're essentially straddling the market for a high impact news event. And the reason why we do that is it allows us to capture either side of the market. When this news event drops, we don't know which way price is going to go. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down, or it could go down and up. Cassandra, because that's just the passing percentage for a 250K account, it's the same from 25 up to 49. And I personally just want to go with a little bit larger a buffer in case there is some of that manipulation. So if the passing percentage is the same, why not give yourself a little extra room? That's why I'm going with a 40 point pad. So anyways, the whole point is price is going to open. It's either going to go up or down, or it's going to go down and then up. And for those that are new, what this Excel sheet does is I have tracked down to a 1 second level how far price on average will open up, go one direction or the other before it actually makes its move. So this first column you see here is how far price moves in the first few seconds after the news event is dropped. And then this column here is if it goes in the opposite direction. So like, for example, here on the 12th, when price opened, it went I don't know if it went up or down, but it went in the opposite direction, 24.25 points. And then it wound up going in the other direction, 261 points. So we have then created this pad of protection. So what the pad does is we place our orders on the other side of this pad. So that way we can try to prevent the manipulation. So on average, CPI from the open to its highest or lowest point on average moves 101 points with an average manipulation of about 17 points first. So if we can eliminate the manipulation, then we can catch the move. So that's where the protection pad comes into play. So there is an indicator. It is called the OSOC protection pad. It's a private indicator. You can't search for it, but in this video description, there is a link to it. And what that does, it allows you to put in what your pad is. So I'm going with a 40-point pad. Therefore, it's 40 points. So what happens is I'm going to place my orders, and then I'm going to move them to right here and right here. Now, the way we place the orders is a little unique. It's not a market order. It's not a limit order. It is a stop order. So I'll go through this for those who are new. What we do is a few minutes before the news event drops, we still have about 4 minutes to go until the news event drops. I'm actually going to go to a 5-minute candle. There we go. We got 3 minutes and 19 seconds. So what we do is when you're below price, you want to have your instant order executions on. And when we're below price, we want to right click, go to trade, go to create new order, make sure you're on sell, and make sure you're on a stop order. Put in your maximum number of contracts, and this instance, a 250K account is 27 contracts. And the only box you're checking is take profit. My profit target's 15,000. I go a little bit above that in case we do have some slippage. And then you hit sell. And then we do the same thing for above price. We go above price, right click, create new order. We click buy, make sure it's on a stop order, put in your maximum number of contracts, your take profit, and then we hit buy. And then what we do is we let it just sit there, make sure it's far enough out of the money that it doesn't get executed before the event. And right with about 5 or 10 seconds left before the news event drops, we're going to hold the shift button down on our keyboard, and then we're going to drag the bracket order to our protection pad, and then we let go. And then what happens is when price blasts off one way or another, as soon as whatever side order gets hit first, you want to close out to the other side. And then we see if we pass. So that's essentially the method of OSOC. We do this only for those that can afford to take the money that your eval costs and light it on fire. This is not for funded accounts, although some have used this on a funded account. Someone in the chat might know who that is. I highly suggest against it, and definitely don't do this on a cash account. So we have about a minute and 30 seconds left, and we're going to see how this goes today. Once this is over, as always, guys, we're going to go right back to our normal trading model, and we're going back to risking properly. This is the only time I personally like to gamble. Is it a gamble? Even with some historical data, this is still a gamble. Mecky, you might have to go into your settings in your trading view. I can't help you with that, unfortunately, right now. Maybe once the stream's over or once this is over, we can look at your settings. But your orders should be going on your screen if you have your settings set in your trading view properly. Okay, guys, we got about 40 seconds here. Everyone focus up. You can go ahead and place your orders on the screen now if you haven't already. It is entertaining, isn't it, Duke? $15 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, order should be in place. Here we go. All right. Everybody should pass that one. That should have been a passing event right there. Let's go ahead and take a look. I believe I passed. Let me see here. Go over here. Let's take a look. Hey, all right. Passed. Pass. Good job. W. All right. Whoever passed, let's go ahead and put some W's in the chat. Let's spam that chat. W's, everybody. W's. There we go. Amazing. Look at that. Blow up that chat. Awesome. Let's go. Fantastic. All those W's. You know, I don't have a running total, guys, but I believe we're probably up to close to 1,000 funded traders from this, guys, which is pretty awesome. Let's go. So, Damien, there's a lot of slippage you get sometimes with this. Thank you, Seamus. We all have gone through it. There's been plenty of times where others have passed and I have failed. I mean, there was like 2 or 3 in a row that they just slipped me just a little bit more than everyone else has. I think there was one time where it was like by 1 tick that I would have failed it by. So, but let's go back and look at this real quick, guys. Let's go down to a 1 second chart. Let's see how this worked. Okay. So it's actually quite interesting because if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, if you look at this, you looked at it's an open, low, high, close. You would have thought that this manipulation happened first, but it didn't actually. And this is why I switched from using 5-minute chart candlesticks down to 1 second candlesticks. You can see that price opened and then just went straight up, then it retraced. So some of you are asking, well, why did I fail? And why did others pass? Okay. It all boils down to what type of, where you are, where your internet connection is. And look at this. This is a 1 second chart. My order entered and exited in 1 second. Sometimes you may have a delay if your internet's a little bit slower than others. If you're using a trade copier, I don't personally like using trade copiers. There are many that have used trade copiers. And they've been very successful with it. I don't, just because there's a lot of executions that have to happen at the same time, and we're talking a 1 second time frame. So you have 2 seconds before you had a full retracement. This retracement right here on this candle alone, that would have blown an account just because of drawdown, because of trailing drawdown. So then you had all this. So you literally went in a matter of 5 seconds. You had a move of 119 points from the high to the low in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. So, like I said, depending on where you are in the world, if you're what type of internet connection you have, if you're trying to use a trade copier, all these things factor in. That's why I don't use trade copiers. I just use my trading view and I log into my Tradevate and I execute on here. Have I been slipped? Absolutely. Have I failed when others have passed? Absolutely. That's part of the game, unfortunately. So this is now technically my 18th funded account I have passed this way. Let's go ahead and Jimmy, that's a good question. So to show you guys, for those that are in the market lens and in the Unicorn University, you have access to my journal, and that's where you can download these spreadsheets. This data sheet is exclusive to those 2 communities at this time. And the way we fill out the data now, we'll go ahead and put that in now. It's the 13th. So for the open high, again, I do it on a 1 second basis. Why do I do it on a 1 second basis? Well, because this 5-minute candle, it's not telling the whole truth right here. So down to the 1 second it does. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure from the open low first. So there was a baby little bit of manipulation. It was 7.25 points. So that is the manipulation. So we'll put 7.25. And then the open to the high is going to be the first big candle before we have any type of retracement. So because we wicked down here, let's measure that wick. That is from there to 20. So that's 27 points right here. So again, just this little retracement here, that could have blown an account because of trailing drawdown. So I'm only going to measure this first candle. So we're going to go from the open to the high, and that was 73 points. So now the data sheet's been updated. And there we go. So we had a 73-point move from the open to the high, and we had a 7.25 point manipulation first. So Orlando, were you able to pass the 250K accounts? Hey, good job, Cassandra. Good job, Orlando. See, sometimes people use the trade copiers and they work just fine. So, all right, well, that's it. That's gonna be it for my OSOC and for the month. I've come down to just really mainly doing NFP and FO or CPI. Now, I can definitely tell you, guys, there is PPI this week. Hey, Rod, did you pass anything, brother? I did. I have passed a lot on PPI. I don't stream PPI. It's not the best numbers, but usually when we have a pretty good CPI, we also have a pretty good PPI. But I don't think it's back to back this week. Is it back to back? Check Forex Factory. Let's take a look. No, so PPI is on Thursday. A lot of times, the when the CPI PPI back to back days is when I've seen the best. In fact, I've done a double header where I passed on CPI one day and then I passed on PPI the next day. And doing this now for over a year, I've noticed that a lot of times when we have a large one-sided move on CPI, we'll also have a large one-sided move on PPI. So not sure why that is, not sure where the correlation comes in, but that's what I have definitely have noticed in the past. So, all right, well, everybody, we're going to cut it there. Congratulations to everybody that passed. Enjoy. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I do this for free, guys. So if you've passed accounts and you enjoy this and you want to show some support, best way to do it is when you buy your next Apex account, use my code DayTradingRealtor. The only way really I get any support from this. So I don't do this for money. I do this to pass my own accounts. And if you guys along the way can pass accounts also as well, that's fantastic. So thanks, Jerome. Yes, the pad indicator is free. It's in the video description. If you click on it, just add it to your favorites and then reboot your trading view and you'll see it in there. So if you've liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, give it a share. Make sure to sub to the channel if you're not already subbed. And we'll get back at it another day. And remember, everyone, back to your normal trading model. If you do want instant order executions, you can leave them on. If you don't, you can turn it off. That's totally up to you. But make sure to risk properly, stay safe, and as always, happy trading.